Hi learners, welcome to the Dr. B.R. Ambedkar Open University video lessons, and this class is for all the UG computers students first year second semester. Today we are going to discuss about working with strings in Python. Strings in Python. So in this class we are going to understand what the strings are and how to perform various operations on the strings, and what are the various methods available to perform on the strings, and just see the outcome of this today's lesson. At the end of this class you are going to understand what are the strings in Python and how to create the strings, accessing characters of the strings, and string slicing, and then we will be understanding the various string methods that can be applied on the strings. Let's get started. Let's start with a string. String is a sequence of characters enclosed in quotes. String is a sequence of characters or set of characters which is enclosed between quotes. And in Python the strings are immutable. Immutable in the sense they are not changeable. Once they are created, it cannot be changed. And here the string can contain any type of characters. The characters can be letters or symbols or any spaces, numbers or any other characters. A string can include any type of symbols, any type of characters, letters or symbols. And in Python there is no character type like C, C++, Java. There is no character type. Everything is treated as a string only. Even though there is a single character, the single character is also treated as a string. And since these strings are immutable, if you try to modify that string, it will create a new string object. That means it is not going to be changed. Instead of modifying that string, it is going to create a new string object. So that is why they are called as a immutable. And see, here the strings are used for text handling and manipulation. So to store the text type data, we use the strings. And let us see how to create the strings. In Python, a string can be created in many ways. A string can be created by using a single quotes. That means to create a string, you just enclose the text or you enclose the set of characters in a pair of single quotes. That will create a string. For example, in this case we are going to create a string s1 equals to Python. Here Python is a set of characters that is enclosed between single quotes, and even you can create a string using the double quotes. See, we are creating another string s2 equals to Python, but here the string is enclosed between double quotes. And the last way of creating a string is by enclosing the text in triple quotes. That means if you want to create any multi-line text or the multi-line string, then you can use the triple quotes. The triple quotes will create a multi-line string. For example, if you want to create a multi-line text like address or any lengthy string, then you have to enclose that string in triple quotes. If the string spans in multiple lines or multiple rows, then that string should be enclosed between triple quotes. That is, these are the three different ways of creating a string. A string can be created either by enclosing the text in single quotes or by using the double quotes, or you can also use a triple quotes for creating a string. So these three ways creates a string. Now let us see, after creating a string, how to access the characters of the string. So in order to access the characters of the string, we can use the index. Since the strings are nothing but the set of characters, when it is compared to C, C++ or Java, a string is nothing but an array of characters. So the elements of array are accessed using indexes now. So in the same way, the characters of a string can be accessed using index. Here index plays a vital role in accessing characters of individual characters of the string. And see, this index actually starts from 0, that is a positive index. The positive index always starts from 0. So, that starts at left side and runs towards right side. That starts from left side, it starts from 0 and runs toward right side, that is positive index. And even you can also use the negative index. The negative index actually starts at -1 at the rightmost of the string, right. So, in this example you can see we have a string Python world, and when we use the positive index as I told you, the positive index starts from 0. At 0th index position we have the character P, and at 1 index position we have the character Y, and so on. And see, this positive index is actually started at 0 and it is moving on to the right hand side. But what about the negative index? The negative index actually starts at -1 at the rightmost side of the string, that is at -1 we have the character D, the negative index actually starts at -1 at right hand side of the string. So, at -1 we have D, and at -2 we have L, and in this way it is running from right to left. So, we can use either positive index or negative index based on our requirement. So, let us see more example on this. For example, here we have a string Python world, and if we use the positive index, print s of 0, here s is nothing but the string, and so in this string we have many characters. The characters are Python world, Python space WORLD, these are the characters. If I write s of 0, indirectly we are accessing the character at which position? 0th index position. At 0th index position we have the character, that is P. So, print s of 0 will print the first character, that is P. See, you can notice one thing, here we are using the positive index, and print s of 7 will give you the character at 7th index position. What is the 7th index position? At the 7th index position we have the character W. So, in this way we can use positive indices to get the characters from left to right. That means, in the same order the string is created. And let us see how to use the negative index. So, with the negative index, how to access the characters? See, I am using the same example in this case also. So, we have the string Python world, and now we are going to use the negative index. As I told you, the negative index starts from -1. So, from the right side. Now, if I write print s of -1, it is going to access the first character, it is going to return the first character, that is D, from the right hand side. At -1 we have the character D, and if I write s of -7, so you can see at -7 we have the character N, So, in this way we can also use the negative index for accessing the characters of a string. See, generally the negative index is used to traverse the string in reverse order. That means, if you want to get the characters from right to left, you can use the negative index, because the negative index actually starts from -1 and that runs towards the left side, right. So, let us see more examples and how. So, in this we are going to discuss about the slicing. And what is slicing? The slicing is actually the way of extracting some portion or the segment of a string. Sometimes we want to extract only some portion of the string or some segment of this string. In that case, you need to specify from where to where you want to extract it. So, the slicing is nothing but the way of extracting or fetching only the few characters or the particular segment of the string, that is slicing. And so, in order to get only the particular portion of the string, we need to specify the start and end index. So, to extract only the particular portion, we need to mention from where to where you want to extract, that is the start index and end index are compulsory. See, you can see the syntax here, the string, and inside the square brackets you have to write first one start index and colon and then end index. So, it will clearly gives you from where to where you want to extract the strings, from where to where you want to extract the characters. See, you can see here the start index is always included, that means the character at start index is actually included, that means that will be returned, but whatever the index, end index is always excluded, that means you will not get the character at end index position. If you see the example, you can clearly understand s equals to Python world, it is a string, and if you see the Python world is a set of characters, and with a positive index, the positive index starts from 0, at 0 we have p, and at 1 index we have y, and at t is at 2 index, and so on. And let us see how to slice this. As I told you, the slicing is nothing but it's a way of extracting some portion of this string. Now let us use how to extract only the particular portion. As I told you, to extract the particular portion of the string, we need start index as well as the end index. See, for example, here s of 0 colon 6, s of 0 colon 6, the start index is 0 and the end index specified is 6. That means from 0th index character to not the 6th index character. So, 6th index is not included, that is excluded. So, we are going to fetch the characters from 0th index to 5th index only. That means at 0th index we have the character p, and at 1 index we have the character y, and at 2 index we have t, and at 3 we have h, and at 4 we have o, and at 5 we have n. But what about 6th? The 6th index is excluded, we have already clearly mentioned it. So, 6th index is excluded, the end index is always excluded. So, we are going to extract only the characters p, y, t, h, o, n, because 0 to end index minus 1. So, 0 is the start index and the end index is 6, but it is excluded. So, from 0 to 5th index only we will get the character, that is those characters are Python. And you can see another statement here, print yes, but here the start index is not mentioned, only the end index is mentioned. Whatever the start index, even though the start index is not mentioned by default, it will take 0 as the start index. If you skip the start index, by default the start index will be 0, with a positive index the start index will be 0, and here end index is given, whatever the end index 6 is given. That means you are going to get all the characters from the start index by default to 6 minus 1 index. 6 minus 1 is nothing but 5th index, since the end index is always excluded now. So, from 0th index to 5th index we are going to get those characters. So, in this case we have skipped the start index, even though we have skipped the start index, by default it has taken 0 as the start index. That means whenever the start index is not mentioned, by default it will take 0 as the start index. And then we have another statement, you can see another statement, print s of 7 colon 12, the start index is given as 7 and the end index is 12. That means 7th position, 7th character, that is 7th index character to 11th only, not 12, because the end index is always excluded. 12 minus 1 is 11 only. From 7th index character to 11th index character you will get the characters. That means we will get the portion of the string, that is world, W-O or L-D, we will get only. So, the characters from 7th index to 11th index only, that is it. And next, in the last statement you have seen print s of 7 colon and end index is missing, the end index is specifying, the end index is skipped. Okay. So, s of 7 colon, there is no end index. If you have not mentioned end index, by default it will be the last index, that is indirectly it is 12. That means you are going to extract the characters from 7th index to the last index or the end index minus 1 position, that means 11. So, you will get the characters from the 7th index to 11th index, that is W, O or L, D. So, that is the way of specifying the start index and end index. So, from this slicing operation, you can understand when the start index is not mentioned, by default it will be 0, and when the end index is not mentioned, by default it will be the end index. But remember, the important thing is the end index is always excluded. That means you will not get the character at end index, but the start index is always included. Let us move on. How to get the characters using the negative indexing? That means here also we are going to perform the slicing operation, but with the negative indexing. So, here also we need to mention the start and end indexes, and we have already seen that the end index is always excluded and the start index is always included. So, let us use the same example. So, we are using the string, that is Python world, and so as I told you earlier, the negative index starts from -1 and it starts at right side and runs towards the left side. So, it starts at -1 actually, and it starts at right of the string and runs towards the left side. So, just see this example. In this example, we have one statement s of -12, that is as the start index, and -6 as the end index. The start index is -12 and end index is -6. That means at -12 we have the character p, and so now it will be incremented. That means the index will be incremented by 1. That means -12 plus 1 will be -11, and -11 plus 1 will be -10, and so on. So, that means here the step is by default it will be +1, by default it will be +1. That means we are starting from the -12 and moving up to -6. But as I have already told you, the end index is always excluded. The end index is always excluded. So, we are starting at -12, that is we will get the character p, and then we will move to the right hand side -11. At -11 we have y, and then we have t at -10 and h at -9 and o at -8 and n at -7. And what about -6 here? The -6 is the end index that is excluded. That means you will get only these characters p, y, t, h, o, n only, right. See, here we have used only negative index, the negative index -12, which starts from the leftmost side. And let us see another example, s of -12, but the end index is skipped, the end index is not mentioned. When the end index is not mentioned, so by default it will take the last end index. What about the last end index? The last end index will be -1. So, -12 is the start index, and if you miss or if you skip the end index, by default it will be the last negative index, last negative index. So, in this case also we are fetching the characters from -12 index to the last negative index, that is -1. So, that means you will get all the characters p, y, t, h, o, n, w, o, or l, d, that is -12 to -1. So, -1 in the sense the last index will be actually 0, that is 0 is not included, that is excluded. You will get the characters from -12 to -1 only. So, that is with a negative index. And what about if you skip the start index when you are using the negative index? For example, in this case the start index is skipped. We have not mentioned the start index, but only the end index is mentioned. So, if you miss the start index, only the end index is mentioned. So, by default, so the start index will be -12, the starting index will be -12. So, when the start index is not mentioned with the negative index, so by default it will be -12. So, in this case also you will get Python WO or L. So, why D is missing? Because D is at -1, but we have already told you, I have already told you the end index is always excluded. At -1 we are not going to get that character, and before that -1 we have L only. That means up to L only you will get the characters. Okay. And then we have another statement, S of the start index is -1 colon and the end index is -12, but here we are mentioning the step -1. We are starting from the -1 and the step is -1. So, -1 means we are starting at -1. Every time the index should be incremented, or index should be incremented by -1, -1, -1, -2, and -2 plus -1, it will be -3. That means we are stepping towards left side. We are incrementing the negative index by -1. You will get the characters from right to left. That means in the reverse order. This is very interesting. So, we are starting from -1 and we are moving towards the n index, that is -12. The n index is mentioned as a -12, but the step is clearly mentioned -1. Every time it will increment the index by -1. So, now you are going to get the characters from -1 to -12. That means in reverse order, exactly reverse order. That is it. And now even you can extract the portion of the string without specifying the start index and end index. But if you specify any negative step, see here the start index is not mentioned and end index is not mentioned, but only the step is mentioned. So, when the step is mentioned as a negative index, automatically the index will be treated as a negative index. The start index will be -1 by default, because the negative index always starts at -1. That will be the by default start index, and then the n index will be -12. See, by looking at the step, since the step is negative step now, automatically it will treat the entire indexing or entire slicing from the right to left only. Right to left only, that means we are starting at -1 and moving towards -12. So, because the step is given as a -1. So, when the step is given as a -1, automatically you will get the characters in reverse order. The start index and end index will be automatically set as a negative. That is it. For example, here s of -1 as the start index and -12 as the end index, and if you see -2 as the step, and what will be the output of this? Can anybody guess? Just try out. Now, let us see concatenation, string concatenation. So, the concatenation is nothing but combining two strings into one string. That is nothing but appending one string with another string. Here, the appending one string with another string is called as the concatenation. So, the concatenation allows you to combine two strings into one string. To concatenate one string with another string, we use plus. We use the operator plus. Here, plus is used to combine the two strings together. See, you can see the syntax of using the concatenation to concatenate two strings, string 1 followed by plus and followed by string 2. So, here it is going to concatenate two strings, a string 1 and a string 2. That is it. For example, here we have the string S1, the S1 contains Python, and then we have another string world. Now, I want to combine these two strings or to append the first string with another string. So, in order to concatenate these two strings, we have to use plus operator. So, print S1 plus S2 will concatenate these two strings and it will produce the concatenated string without any space, that is Python world. That is it. So, concatenation is nothing but combining two strings or appending one string with another string. So, plus is used to concatenate two strings. Now, let us discuss about formatting strings. What do you mean by formatting? Here the formatting allows you to embed any variable value or any value inside a string. So, if at all you want to embed or if at all you want to keep one variable value in the text, then you can format the string. So, to format a string, there are two ways. The first way of formatting a string is by using f strings, that means f as the prefix. So, to format a string, you can use the f string or you can also use the format method. See, let us see how to use f strings. The syntax of using f strings is f followed by string, and you need to have a placeholder. Here the placeholder is created by using the curly braces. So, by using this curly braces, you can create a placeholder. This placeholder allows you to put any variable value. That means, in the string you are going to embed one variable value. So, to put the variable value in that string, you have to create a placeholder. The placeholder can be created by using these curly braces. So, you can format the string by using the f and then followed by the string, and wherever you want to put the variable value you just use the curly braces, and in that curly braces you just write the variable. That is it. It is going to embed that variable value in that string. In this way you can format the string. So, in this example you can see we have two variables a equal to 10 and b equals to 20, and we are adding these two values a plus b, and now I want to put these values in the text, that is sum of a and b is c. That means wherever this curly braces occurs, immediately this is going to substitute this a value here, and in the second placeholder b it is going to substitute b value, and in the c it is going to substitute c value. That means the final output will be the sum of 10 and 20 is 30. That is it. So, in this way you can format a string. Now, another way of formatting the string is by using the format function or the format method. So, the format method can also be used for embedding the variables or the values into placeholders. See, you can see the syntax of using the format method. First, you need to use the string object dot format method and then value 1, value 2 and so on. Let us take the same example. We have two variables a equal to 10 and b equals 20, and then I want to substitute these values in a string. I want to embed these values in a string. So, in the print statement, the sum of inside this placeholder we are mentioning 0, 1 and 2, and these 0, 1 and 2 are going to be replaced with a value, b value and a plus b value. So, here format method automatically formats this entire string by substituting a value, b value and a plus b value in the corresponding placeholder. That means, in the first placeholder, that is 0, where 0 is mentioned, a will be replaced, and in the second placeholder, that is where 1 is mentioned, b is replaced, and then in the third placeholder where 2 is mentioned, a plus b value will be mentioned. So, the final output of this format or this formatting string will be the sum of 10 and 20 is 30. That is it. So, these are the two different ways of formatting a string. The string can be formatted either by using f string or a format method. Now, let us discuss about some of the useful string methods. These string methods are used to manipulate the strings, and however, you are not going to mutate the string because the strings are immutable. So, they are just going to return by creating a new string. That is it. So, let us see some of the string methods. The first method is capitalize. The capitalize method is used to change the first letter of the string to uppercase. That means, it simply returns a string by converting the first letter to uppercase and rest of the letters to lowercase only. The rest of the letters will be in lowercase only, but what about the first letter? The first letter will be converted to uppercase. That means, the capitalize method is used to change the first letter of the string to uppercase, and the remaining will be in the lowercase. You can see the syntax here, string dot capitalize, it does not take any argument, and so you can see an example S1 equals to Python, and then we are calling this function print S1 dot capitalize. In the S1 we have Python and all the characters are in uppercase only, all the characters are in uppercase only, but when we apply this capitalize method, so it will convert only the first letter to uppercase and the remaining letters will be converted to lowercase. So, now you can see the output is Python, but the first letter is converted to uppercase and remaining letters are in lowercase, that is capitalize. And let us see another string method, that is upper. See, upper in the sense it simply converts all the characters of the string to uppercase. That means, it is going to convert all the characters of the string to capital letters, uppercase in the sense capital letters. The syntax of using this method is string dot upper without any parameter. Inside the parenthesis you need not to pass any value. So, it simply convert all the characters of the string to uppercase. And let us see an example. For example, here we are defining one string s1 equals to Python, and this set of characters are in lowercase actually, but when we call this method upper, it will convert all these characters of the string to uppercase. Now, the output will be in uppercase letters, that is Python is in uppercase, that is it. So, upper method will convert all the characters of the string to uppercase. Now, the lower method converts all the characters of a string to lowercase, lowercase in the sense small letters. See, the syntax is same, string dot lower, it does not take any argument, and we have an example s1 equals to Python, but all these characters are in uppercase only, but in order to convert all these characters to lowercase, you can simply call the method lower. So, s1 dot lower, this will convert all the characters of the string to lowercase, means small letters. Now, the output you have got is in lowercase, Python is in lowercase, that is lower method. Next, L strip, very useful method. The L strip is used to remove the leading spaces of the string. Leading spaces in the sense the spaces which are on the left side, the spaces which are on the left side of the string. So, if at all there are any spaces on the left side of the string and you want to remove those spaces, then you can use the L strip. The L strip simply removes the spaces on the left side. Thank you, students.